Yeah, hello all. Welcome to the session. Let's wait for a couple of more minutes for people to join, and then we'll start the session. Hi, Niti Raj, and hi, Vinod. Can you guys hear me and can see the screen? Please confirm in the chat. Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's great, Niti Raj. Yeah. Please wait for a couple of more minutes, then we'll start the session. And today is a demo session, by the way. The first two sessions are demo, and after that, only for the paid candidates, it will be shared. Anyhow, we'll see the slides. I guess we can start the session. So once again, welcome to the session. So this is the weekend batch 308. So uh, yeah, uh, uh, so this is the poster. So let me give a general info um, about how our trainings will be. So first thing, for any issues or any queries related to course or payment or anything, you can reach out to the support@logiclabstech.com. This is the mail ID. So you just drop an email regarding any query, technical, non-technical, anything, you can reach out to them and they will redirect to us if it is a technical one, if it is anything related to the portal or payment, they will resolve it. Okay. And you can even call to this two numbers. And the first two sessions will be for like it is a demo sessions like today and tomorrow. And from the next week, only for the paid candidates, it will be shared. A new Zoom link will be shared. Okay. And there is no batch shifting. And so if you click on this, and this slides will be shared, guys. Okay. And let me give this link as well in the chat. So most probably you might be already having, or you might be part of this WhatsApp group. If not, you just go to this link and this is you click on this join chat, it will redirect to the WhatsApp group. So why you need to be part of the WhatsApp group is so if there is anything related to our course will be shared over there. So yeah, please do join that WhatsApp group if not already. And so all the recordings and notes will be shared through the LMS portal. We use Graphy here. And the Logic Lab support team will be available only during the business hours, like from Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. IST. Okay, so let's move on. So these are all the social media links. So we'll go through this at the last. And so today is the first demo session, and our batch is 308. So it's like it's my 15th or 16th batch, I guess. Yeah, this one. So a little bit about myself. So Karthik here. So I done my RHCSA certification more than almost 2 years. So yeah. So currently working as a platform engineer in one of the MNC companies. Uh, yeah. So previously also worked in one of the company as a sysadmin. So Yeah, currently handling around 9,000 plus servers as a physical as well as cloud servers. So yeah, and straight away let's go to the content like okay. So before that, uh, we can see your chat, Vinod. Yeah, we can see your chat. Means your WhatsApp group you're asking? Yeah. So yeah, WhatsApp group. Once you request, they will admit you. Okay. So, but please do join it. Yeah. So first thing, what is Linux and why still it's relevant in IT, right? So that should be a question because Linux has been around, or you might have heard Linux bits and pieces here and there, but you might not have a full picture, or this is a very new concept or very new thing for you, since you might be already familiar with Mac OS as well as Windows, right? So what is Linux? So Linux is just like any other operating system. It's a open source operating system. And now you might ask, okay, then what is open source, right? So that's again a new thing because Windows and Mac OS is like how to say it, like they are pioneered this one and they have the market dominance over like any missions if you take most probably as an end user or for commercial use, they are the go-to options, right? So, but there is a very niche audience or very niche people who use Linux as a end user as well as in enterprise or in if I mention enterprise, it's just companies, right? So any companies if you take like from startup to an MNC, all prefers Linux. Okay, so first thing, Linux is just another operating system to perform certain tasks. Okay, and to perform it in efficient way. So that's the selling point of Linux, and that's also the most important reason companies prefer that because if how optimal it resolves the small issues or like it should not have major issues in the operating system itself, right? So all these considered, companies prefer that, and why still it's relevant in IT, right? So first thing, we will see what is open source and closed source. So open source means if you will have, if you get to like experience open source operating system, so you can literally modify any configuration files, right? So let's say a very basic example would be, so if you go to the start menu, you can even change this layout or, okay, let's say somehow you change the layout in Windows, then what will happen? So if there is any Windows update or anything changed, if there is a reboot or if there is a Windows update, there is a compulsory update for the thing, it will be reverted back or it will be updated to a new UI. So it's not under your control, right? So that's a closed source. And why closed source is because this is owned by Microsoft, right? So they have the full privilege to modify your user interface. Not only that, your configuration to a certain extent only you have a control over your own operating system. Whereas open source, you can modify almost everything and it will stay persistent. That's the thing, right? So literally you own the code as well as the like all the configuration files. So why I meant code because if you see this one, so this is the actual kernel. So you will understand what is kernel in later session, but as of now, that is like a heart of your operating system. Okay, so if you see this one, literally, if you can fork or if you make a copy of this one and somehow you coded the remaining user interface and those things, literally you created your own version of Linux. So it's that simple. Okay, so obviously it's not easy task, but still it's like Microsoft won't give their own code, right? So this is open source, and they build, or the main motto of Linux is for that only. And this guy is the one who firstly initiated it. His name is Linus Torvalds. Okay. So, and this, if you see this, yeah, this is the one. Yeah, he's the one who initiated, or he's the first one to give this kernel. So previously there used to be Minix. Okay. So from that, he created a fork of that, and created an optimal version of it and called it as Linux. Okay. And yeah, you see, this is one of the most contributed repositories out there. So almost 15,000 contributors, which means 15,000 plus people came together and like update this one, or code, create their own version of this, or developed this one. And you see, even one good thing is it is being updated frequently. Okay, so this is one of the most active uh, huge repo out there. Okay, so yeah. Now coming back to our content. So that's the open source. And how about the closed sources? Your Windows itself is an example that, like, literally your Windows or Microsoft is the one controlling your machine. Okay. And so the next one is you have many version of Linux. So you might have heard Linux Mint, or it is called as distros. Okay, so, or distributions. So if you go to this site, so let me give the site in the chat. So if you go to this one, almost every different distros will be listed over here in the rank basis, so which is the popular one among the commercial users. Again, it is for commercial use, not for a like a technical, or let's say for enterprise usage, right? So that's the reason if you see here, Red Hat would be at the 60th position, but actually companies prefer Red Hat, and Red Hat is like a most used one, especially for companies. But this is for end users, right? So MX Linux is like mostly it resembles Windows. So you see there is a start menu and many things. So that's the reason this is the popular one. But yeah, so these are all the distros, and many developers come together and they form their own version of Linux. Okay, so there is a Debian based, there is a Arch Linux, so many are there, but yeah, so but the point is, each has their own version of kernel and their own package management. Everything will be unique. Okay, so yeah. So now moving on to the next one, and why it is still relevant in IT is that's what, like, companies want the full performance should be there. So let me go to my task manager, and even now my memory is not fully being utilized, or it is not an in optimal use, because Windows is notorious to kind of distribute the load not in a sequential way. Okay, so that's the thing. Like if I open 50 plus tabs, it will manage somehow, but it won't manage optimally. Okay, so again, you can fine tune it, but not out of the box, right? So that's what, like, you need to change the virtual memory and so on. Whereas in Linux, it is kind of like right away you can change it, and you have the control also. So if you change it, it will reflect on the fly, right? So the same thing goes for your CPU and all the resources. So that's what the companies need, right? So it doesn't need any user interface change or anything. So only the pure performance should be there, and that will be there, especially if you are opting for Linux, and especially Red Hat Linux. So that's what the thing companies prefer. So if you see this one, and what is Red Hat now? So that's our next one. So why Red Hat, and what is a Red Hat, by the way? So Red Hat is a company, or it is a product-based company. And what is their products? So they're a PaaS, means platform as a service company. because they provide a lot of products. If you see this one, many things are here, right? So they have their own cloud service, and they have their own like this is their operating system. Like they have their own OS distribution, and so many things, right? So the list goes on. But the point is, IBM acquired Red Hat like 3 years ago, I guess, 2019. So yeah, it's almost 4 years. So yeah, they are like like they have been in the field for so many years. So it's like the first iteration is around 1999. So it's been more than 20 years, right? So yeah. And the USP of the Red Hat is their support, right? So if you go to their support, and companies prefer support because obviously none of the operating system is like without any bugs. Obviously, there will be bugs even in Windows or any vendor or any operating system. If you take, there will be bugs, but the time or the ETA for the problem to be solved is far, if it is less, that's much more appreciated. And that's what companies pay for the vendors, right? So similar thing goes here. And Red Hat pioneered their support system. Okay. And they are the dominant one, especially for the like enterprise. And the next one is like your Ubuntu, and the list goes on. Okay. So yeah. And why RHCSA? So now that should be your question. And in our title itself, it will be Linux Administrator RHCSA. So what is RHCSA is? So literally, if you completed this exam, so RHCSA is nothing but a Red Hat certified system administrator, right? So if you completed, or if you are you're a RHCSA certified, your like it has its own credibility, and you're showing to the interviewer that okay, I know the basics and intermediate level of knowledge in Linux. Okay, so and if you pioneer this one, and since companies prefer this one, Red Hat, so obviously you have the edge over the remaining candidates, right? So that's the thing. And trust me, it has its own credibility till now. And it is also an entry level certificate only. So there are plethora of certificates, especially Red Hat offers, and this is just the entry level. Okay, so this is the link. So let me give this link also in the chat. So you can go through this one. And our course is actually tailored based on this exam only, right? So, and not only focusing on the exam topics, much more than that. So that's what this is about. Like the first one is your user management, and why user management is important. As we know, user management must be there, or it should be managed, especially their own employees' data and the customers' data. If it is not, if it is a service based, they should manage their own employee data as well as their customers one, right? If it is a product based, obviously they need to manage their own only. So, and why it should be managed, right? So, why means then only they can, it like it should not create a security risk that, okay, let's say one of the guy is part of a team and he has full permissions or full privilege, but he left the team within a week or some random reason, but his ID and his all the permissions will be there. So that is a huge risk for the whole infra itself, right? So anyone can switch to his ID if they know the credentials or something. So it is a huge risk. So like that, it should be managed every now and then. And companies do manage based on the like there will be quarter-wise audit will be there, or yearly, like that. Some audit will be there to remove the stale IDs, the unused IDs or something. So that's what user management, and many more than that one. So how to give the privilege access and so many things we will see in that one. And the next one is disk management, which we take it for granted, especially in our Windows, because as an end user, we don't need to manage it because mostly we just need to save our, let's say, photos, videos, and let's say applications, right? But in your enterprise, like each and every small or each and every gig is a like money, right? So they need to spend a lot for the disks only, and this is they need to manage it optimally. So that's the reason you must pioneer how to manage the disks, how to partition or how to mount it separately, and so on. So many things are there. And as a sysadmin, you will be working on disk management a lot. Okay, so it's very, very important one. And the next one is your process management. So process management, it involves a lot of things. So how to manage a process, how to troubleshoot if you're stuck with the process, or if there is any error, how to resolve it. So many things we will check it. Okay. And the next one is your server troubleshooting. So this won't be part of your exams and all, right? So this will be like a real-time examples. So if you're stuck somewhere, or if there is any spike in, like, let's say CPU or memory, how you will react to it, right? So in real time, what we face, I will give an example for this one. And the next one is your basic networking. Okay. So why it is a basic networking is like networking itself is a huge topic or huge subject itself. So we will see what and all networking concepts required for a Linux admin, or in terms of the OS, what and all needed, like setting up a static IP and so on, and how to check if a port is listening. So these kind of basic things we will check. That knowledge of networking itself is fine or enough for the time being. Anyhow, once you start working, or once you're employed as a Linux admin or a system engineer, you will understand it. Okay. So yeah. So cost of the certification, I will give that info. So the cost of the certification is, but before that, if you check this objectives, so I will first thing I'll give go through the syllabus, okay, and lastly I will give the exams fee. Um, but as of now, since you asked, it is around 20,000. Okay, so the exams fee is 20K INR, and yeah, you can convert it into the what is the dollars current rate. You can convert it. So yeah, that's the cost of the certification, and it's from the official site only, right? So it's not some third party. So you need not worry. And yeah, so if you see this objectives, or this is the syllabus part of the RHCSA. So most of the topics we will see, or it will be covered through our syllabus, as well as I will give you a um, sample question paper. Okay, so we will go through that question paper as well. So I will show the question paper at the last. Okay, so first thing we'll go through the syllabus part, and yeah, so let me give the walkthrough of the syllabus. So please hold on for a few minutes. So then we will discuss the doubts if you have. Okay. So first thing we will see the introduction for the operating system. I mentioned as RHEL 8, and the short form of this one is RHEL. Okay, so RHEL 8 or 9. So the current or the latest version is 9.3. Okay, so you can either use RHEL 8 or 9, or you can attend the exam on RHEL 8 or 9. So you have a choice nowadays. So yeah, either one you can choose. Both has its own value, and both are almost same only. So there is not much difference. We will see what are all the few difference are there in later sessions. Okay. And so you guys might have a basic idea that Linux is most probably it is a command based operating system. So what is commands now? So you have two ways of interacting with the machines, right? Or actually three. So you will see all the three methods. So what is the difference? So first thing, if you check, so graphical user interface. Next one is command line interface. Last one is text based user interface. Okay, so what is GUI? So GUI is yeah, like in this Windows example itself. So let me go to the settings and some settings. So if I am interacting with this machine from my mouse cursor, right? So, and it is having the graphical elements, and I'm like while I hover my mouse to the settings, it is changing the color and so many things, right? So all involves graphical elements. And one more downside of using graphical elements is obviously it need to load and it will consume a lot of CPU and memory, right? So that's the downside, but it is ease of access. So as an end user, well, you will do not like you won't need much of your or your you don't you just work for the specific tasks only, right? So you don't care much about the resources. Obviously, you must have the basic one, which will be sufficient for running the graphical elements. So nowadays it's totally fine. But previously, if you have only 1 or 2 gigs, it's like it takes some time to boot up and so many things, right? So that's the thing. But nowadays it's like like it minimum requirement is already solved. Okay, so there is no need to worry about the GUI. So that's your GUI. Your Windows OS itself is a GUI example, and same thing goes for your Mac OS. So Mac OS is actually combination of GUI and CLI natively because even in Windows, it's not that okay, Windows doesn't support CLI. Your command prompt is a CLI example, right? So if you type um, like this, right? So there are specific commands you must type in CLI and you can't double click. So if you double click also, it won't go inside this directory, right? Or inside this folder. Rather, it will just highlight or it will copy. Okay, so that's the thing. So if you want, you should use some command, then only it will go to that directory. So like that, specific commands are there and you must use the commands. So that's the reason it is called a CLI. So using commands only you can interact with the system. Okay. And the next one is TUI. So for TUI, I need to spin up a mission outside. And this is our VMware workstation. So we will see this one and all later, but yeah, just for showing you the TUI example. Let me log in. Yeah, so this is your TUI. So TUI in the sense you have the UI, but you can't double click there. So you need to use your keyboard as well as your like some graphical elements is there, right? So it is highlighting something and like you can like how to say you can work on this one, but still it's not that polished, right? So TUI is like the most underrated one because no one uses that one. So mostly Linux will or we will use CLI and companies prefer CLI. Okay, so that's the thing because there is no need for graphical element. So anyhow, you need to perform few tasks or few operations. So which most probably doesn't require a GUI to be loaded. So like they can save that memory or CPU and use it optimally for some other purpose, right? So that's the reason CLI is preferred. And yeah, coming back to our syllabus. So that's what like essential and advanced Linux commands. So at least, so there is around 2000 plus commands are there. So we won't see everything and no one can see everything because it takes many months to master everything, right? So, but we will see only the important essential, the essential one for working as a sysadmin, and that itself is around 100 to 100 plus commands will be there at least. Okay, so we will discuss, and there's respective options also. And the next one is how to install. So this one we will do in tomorrow's session. So if possible, I will cover all the three methods. Okay, so we will see how to install it in VMware Workstation, and I will give you the system requirements also, right? Uh, like for the VMware Workstation as well as the cloud, like CSP, right? So cloud service providers like AWS, GCP, and Azure. So the many are there, like Alibaba Cloud is there, but we will use only these three. And in these three also, we will use only AWS and GCP. Why? Why not Azure? Because Azure is not giving free trial version. They are giving, but it is only for students. So if you are a student, you are most welcome to use that. But we they ask for the verification for the student account. Okay, so obviously you can go for the alternatives like AWS and GCP, which is recommended because like they are giving the free tier access, and that's what we need, right? So you should not pay for the labs. So we will have, or if you're fine with installing this one, because few people might install or few people might work on your enterprise laptops, right? So you don't have a privilege to install a software on it. So in that case, you can opt for AWS or GCP or any other CSP. Okay. So the next one is performance monitoring. So that's what I told, right? So you need to monitor the performance every second. Okay, so every second matters, especially in a production house. So yeah, all these are all the different resources, right? So your CPU, memory, disks, and network, and your GPU in some cases it matters, and mainly your network matters a lot. Okay, so yeah. So you need to monitor. So we are talking in a volume of not only one system. So obviously one system anyone can monitor, but we are talking in thousands of systems, right? So it's not possible, right? So one person can't monitor those many systems. So in that case, we have monitoring tools. There are many monitoring tools out there. So which is your Zabbix and New Relic and Grafana, right? So the list goes on, but yeah. So we will see any one of the monitoring tool if time permits at the last of the session, because our session is planned fully based on this syllabus. So if time permits, I will install and explain one of the monitoring tool, how to set up. Okay, so we will see that at the last. Okay, so but this knowledge is needed, guys. And you have Dynatrace also to monitor the applications. So APM, like application performance monitoring. So those things we will discuss in later sessions. And coming back to the user management, as I told, we need to check like we can create, delete, modify the existing users. And you have two types of authentication, which is password based or passwordless. So we will see what is that and how, which one is much more secure, like password based or passwordless, and how to make it more secure. So even that we will discuss. And that's what, like you can manipulate the user management, or like all the commands related to manipulating the user management by all these, as well as the super users, right? So the super user access or the privilege access, all these are actually same. So we will discuss, and this is a very interesting way of managing user management. Okay, so very, very important topic. So, but it's like an afterthought in your production, or few companies don't worry too much about the privilege accesses. But if a company is well built their foundation, especially in this kind of access, um, it's very hard to penetrate them, right? So, or that infra. So the infra itself will be stronger. if the privilege access or this kind of basic user management is there is a checkbox. If it is ticked, then it's great, right? So like yeah, so that's what privilege access is very very important. And the next one is your basic OS concepts. So this one, obviously, any sysadmin must know. It doesn't matter any like not only Linux. It's applicable for your Windows as well. So how to use few important tools as well as tools in the sense it's like all the few manipulating your files, right? So many things, not only files, like how to copy or so these kind of basic operations we will discuss. And you use grep and regular expression to analyze text. So which means basic tasks, guys. And that's what like this course mainly aims for the people who are very new to the or they never experienced Linux system, right? So it's the main target is that one. And if you're already Linux admin and you just want to refresh, that also uh, that also will be accomplished in this course, because this is like a from basic to intermediate we will be discussing. So anyhow, it will be like um, a, a revamp of your existing knowledges, right? So yeah, and how to access the so this one anyhow in next section itself we'll be doing using SSH, how to access a server remotely, because all the servers you work won't be in your local machine, right? Obviously, it will be in some random data center located in some, let's say Japan or some location. Even in India itself, it might be in some location. So you must access it remotely. So how that connectivity works? Because in many trainings or previously, if you worked on this one, you might not have an idea how the SSH works in the backend. So we will discuss that also. Like while we do the key-based authentication, or while we understand that one, we will see how it is actually communicating and sending the key. And so many steps will be going on in the background, guys. Okay. And it's also a very interesting and very, very important one, because key-based authentication is the only mode of authentication, especially for your cloud, like especially your AWS, GCP, and all. So you must understand this one, how it works, or you might have already used this one, but without having this, without having this basic understanding. That's totally fine. But as a sysadmin, anyhow, you must know these all, right? So that's what. And as a sysadmin, you must archive the existing data, and means like archive is very, very important for many reasons, right? So let's say if you want to clear stale entries, or if you want to clear old data, but the data is needed uh, like after a few months. So let's say if there is any audit, you you should dig that data. So it should not be removed. So for that, it will be archived in some low cost storage solutions like tape drives or something, right? So for that, archive is used. And till this, all these concepts are applicable for your Windows Server also. So again, I will give some Windows Server examples also. So so you should not mind that, because just for your understanding, I will give both Windows as well as Linux examples. So that easily you can relate it to, right? And the next one is again the manipulating the files and directories, how to create, delete, copy, move, rename, and basic things, right? So all these we will see, and how to create a hard link and soft links. And yeah, so these are all we will see anyhow. And the file permissions. So these are all very, very important topics in your work environment. Okay, so mostly you, since as you are the sysadmin, you have the full privilege to modify the permissions for many teams or different paths. Okay, so we will discuss like how to change that, and how to restrict the user to not use a specific path. That also is an important knowledge. So we'll discuss that also. And yeah, so the next one is system administrator activities. So this one is like again, so like not on day to day, you might get a booting issue, right? But since you're talking in a volume of thousands of servers, at least one might have some issue, right? So some hardware issue, hardware, software, or hardware in the sense, is there any faulty memory slot, or the whole motherboard itself is faulty? So these kind of things, you are the one who need to at least identify through the logs. Okay, so something is failing means you should give the right log. Okay, so the log or understanding or at least locating the log itself is a very key skill you must have. So we will see that how to locate a log for a specific issue. So let's say there is a random reboot in a server. You need to understand who rebooted it or the system rebooted itself. And if it is automatically rebooted, then what was the cause of the reboot? So many things must be considered because it should not be repeated, right? So you should be proactive enough to like avoid that in the future. So that's what you need to do, the RCA, like root cause analysis. So you need to literally drill deep into that and understand, okay, this is the issue and it should not occur in the future, right? So that's the thing. And so you must know how to interrupt the boot process. And yeah, okay. So we will see what is the booting procedure. Most probably in next session, we will see that as well as the installation. So yeah, so this will be covered and how to interrupt it, right? So if we are stuck somewhere or if there is any issue, you should interrupt the booting process and you should go to um, the emergency mode, okay, to perform certain things. And the next one is here, how to identify your if there is any high memory utilization or anything high, right? So CPU, memory, disk usage, everything must be normal for some time. And if there is any production has or during production has, if there is any spike in network usage or any resource, there is a spike, then you should like you should understand what went wrong or if there is any new process is introduced, right? So you need to identify, right? So like that, few things related to the logs we will see, and logs are the how to say, we will as a sysadmin, it is a go-to place. Okay, so you must be familiar with how to analyze a log, what is the purpose of a log, because there is a lot of logs will be there. And that's the only thing, right? So first thing, what is a log is, if there is any activity, let's say if I click the settings, even this is a activity. And let's say I'm starting a like system update, or if I'm turning on this location service, right? So like that, that is a log. I'm turning on a service, right? So that will be log. Like that, the list goes on, right? Each and every simple task also will be logged. And yeah, that's what. Even there is an application log, system log, the list goes on. We will see that in detail, guys. Okay, so yeah. And the next one is how to start, stop, check, and troubleshoot if there is any issues with the system services. And the next one is like, yeah, how to transfer files between, like using WinSAP as well as internally SAP, rsync. All these we will use to transfer files between different servers, right? So the last one will be your service server patching. Okay, so these are all part of the sysadmin. So server patching, we will see how to do the. So we won't do the satellite patching, or we won't be doing, because you obviously you need to pay for Red Hat for doing the satellite patching. I will show you the steps. Okay, so how to do that. But yeah, I will explain it. Don't worry about it. Okay, so yeah. So the next one is your disk management. So these are all the disk management topics. And I mentioned LVM. So what is LVM is? Logical volume management. Okay, so this is what called as LVM. And this is the most, or this is the USP of Linux. So why? Because in Windows, okay, let me give a scenario. So in your Windows, you have different disks. Okay, so this is the disk management page or disk management tool. So you have different disks. So and you have different partitions. So whether you can combine two disks together in Windows, can someone mention in the chat? It can be wrong, guys, but yeah, actually you can, but not natively. Okay, so natively you can't. So you can't combine, let's say disk 0 is 1.8 TB and disk 1 is 200 gigs. So uh, I can actually combine 2 TB, like both together, but not natively, right? So native in the sense the Windows doesn't allow you to do that. Whereas in Linux, you can, and it is easily you can do that. Okay, so that's much, or it makes sense, right? So if there is a like this partition is there, and if this partition needs some space, I can add a new disk on the fly. I can attach a new partition to this one, and it the size will be increased of this one without losing the data. That's the important thing, and you can achieve that using LVM. Okay, and we will see that it is also a very important and interesting one. We will discuss that. Okay, and again, we will manipulate all the how to create, modify, resize, extend, remove all these things. We will work on the LVM. It's very interesting topic actually. Okay, and we will have at least one whole or at least even two sessions based on the disk management. Okay, so it's that important. On day-to-day basis you will do that. So the next one is also the same, how to format it using this different formats. And yeah, so and if you're facing any permission issue or yeah, so those things, how to diagnose it. So those things we will discuss. How to delete also I told. And strat is and video is like a advanced version of your LVM concept. We will discuss that too. Okay. So yeah. And then next one. So it's almost done, guys. Okay. So yeah, it's like a managed security. So security is the second pillar of any operating system, right? So first thing, you should see the integrity and the operational level, how you can make the most of it. And the next one should be how to secure your environment, right? So, and many might already know that there is Linux is the kind of the most secure one, right? So there are even more secure version than this one, but a real or that is also one of the reasons companies prefer this one because uh, they they can protect to a certain extent physically or in software level, but by default, this Linux itself is like how to say architecture to protect you, right? So that's what. So there are many things considered. So you have key-based authentication, and so this itself, I will explain in one session, will be one only for key-based authentication. And the next one is here, how firewall works and SE Linux. Okay. So SE Linux in the sense, um, security enhanced Linux. Okay. So it's like a one more layer of protection to your Linux environment. So yeah, like each and every file and directory will be protected. One more layer is there on top of it. Okay, so yeah, we will discuss SE Linux also in detail and their context, SE context it is called as. So we will discuss that. Okay, and how to restrict the user and limited set of commands. Like that's important knowledge, right? So how to restrict user and for not using or for only using certain things and how to restrict him to use only certain path. So he can't even go to his home path. He should be using only certain path and he can copy or even the commands also you can like a granular level, you can manage, right? So that's an important knowledge. And the next one is your basic networking, right? So as I told earlier, how to configure the static IP, host name, and how to start, stop, make the persistent of the networking services, many things considered. Okay, so we will discuss this one. Um, like to a certain extent only networking, because again, as I told, it's a very huge topic. We can't cover fully networking. So, but the basic things which are needed, we will be covering. Okay, so the last one will be your containers. And Red Hat has their own solution for containers, which is called as Podman. So you might have heard the term containers, and especially Docker or Kubernetes, right? So you might have obviously, if you don't know these two also, you might have came across these two terms, right? So these two are called as containers, and these two are the go-to, uh, in infra. Containers makes a lot of sense because you will use the all the system resources optimally. Okay, so we will see what is the difference between virtualization and containers in detail, and then we will discuss about how Docker, Podman, or Kubernetes, many things, how it makes sense, right? So, and how, like, why industries leaned toward these all, right? So we will discuss that too, and how to create a startup. So this is part of the exam question, actually. Okay. Okay. So how to create a startup process based on the container. And the next one is here, VMware vSphere. So why VMware vSphere is? So let me just quickly show you the VMware workstation. So this one is not being used in your work environment. So which is like a shocker for you, but yeah, because there is very less options here for sure, because this is for enterprise usage, your VMware workstation. So for your work environment, you have VMware vSphere. So I will show you that how to use VMware vSphere at the last, because uh, using a personal computer only, or few, if you already have a server in your local, or in your own, you own a server, which is a lot actually, like at least 5 to 10 lakhs you need to invest. But obviously, no one can own it. But very few laptops also will be compatible. So I have this is a PC, by the way. So my PC is compatible. I will try to show you at the last how VMware vSphere looks, and few operations we'll do, how to install, and basic things we'll do. Okay. So that's again an interesting one. So with that, our whole syllabus will be done. And by the way, this is a paid session, guys. This is not a free one, and it will be in during the weekends, like Saturday and Sunday, during the same timing, and the timing is 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. IST. Okay, so the timings won't change, and uh, even if it is a daylight saving, you need to just see through this one in IST, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. IST. Okay. So yeah. So any doubts till now, or any questions, anything, please do shoot up. And, yeah. And today and tomorrow will be just for demo. And okay, while we are here, one sec. Let me show you the YouTube channel also, so that you can see my previous recordings or my previous sessions. One sec. Yeah, so this is the YouTube channel link. So I'm just giving that in the chat. So many sessions or many courses are there, but you just search for Logic Labs Technology Space Linux. Mine should be there. So if you check this one, like day two and all, how to install, and what is the booting procedure, everything I'll be explaining. So one sec. I can do this. And for the people who are not fine with this timing, for them, you can opt for the self-paced recording. Okay, so it is the same course, guys. So if you opt for recording, you will get the notes and everything right away. Okay, so it's like uh, previous batch actually this one. So you just get the all the recordings and everything. Okay, so recording and the respective note like that. Okay, so yeah, if you're not fine with the uh, live session, you can opt for this one. And if you're fine with the live sessions, let me just give you how to opt for it. Yeah, so you can go to this link and please go through my previous recordings and you can check. And if you're fine with my way of approach to the Linux, and it is purely a practical base. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. And this exam is a practical based exam, guys. Okay, so it means there is no MCQ. Okay, so yeah, so there is no MCQ. It is only for practical, or which means if you know to answer this one, then only you can. And in order to answer. So if you want, I will give this. Please do bookmark this link, guys. So this is the our resource link. Okay, so anything related to our course will be shared as a Google Drive link. And yeah, so if you go to the question paper, so the question paper and even the answers is there. So if you see this one .txt file, this is including the questions as well as answers will be there. And this one will be fully your question paper. And one trivia is one of my colleague actually attended the exam 3 months ago, and he did passed it. And most of the questions are the like it's same. Okay, so like mostly the values might differ, but the concepts will be the same because almost everything we are discussing, guys. It's not like the whole OS. Obviously, no one can. But the important concepts, actually, the syllabus part or the objectives, which is mentioned here, right? Almost everything we are discussing. So you need not worry too much about this one. Okay, so for sure, if you once I explain a concept, uh, after that we will see an example of the like exams question. Okay, so like that only we will see. And yeah, Vinod, I saw you paid for the sessions. Thanks for that. And yeah, you can opt for the recording. So even today's session's recording, it will be like you can access through the Logic Labs portal. So first thing, you just go to this portal and you just go to your dashboard. Okay. And you will see today's recording, and today's recording will be available. Um, it will be available in the YouTube channel. Okay, so the first two recordings will be available here. So it will be uploaded after a few hours. So, but yeah, it will be available in the YouTube channel today and tomorrow's session. And yeah, so once you paid for the session, like each and every recordings will be uploaded here, right? So this is the portal, by the way. Let me give this link once again. So you can opt for the session if you're fine with my way of approach. Okay. So it will be, once again, it is a practical sessions. So yeah, and the system requirement, right? So let me conclude the session with the system requirement for VMware workstation. So if you're fine with installing in your base machine, the VMware, so first thing, you must have at least the CPU should be 2 core. So how to check CPU core? So simply just right click your taskbar, task manager, and this is what you might see. Just go to the next tab, which is performance. Click on CPU and you will see the core count. So in my case, it is 8. So if you, in your case, it should be at least 2, 4, or 8, right? So at least it should be that. So if it is 2, then we are good. Okay, so because only one CB core we will be using virtually, and the next one is your memory or RAM. So both are same. So this one at least should be 1 GB is enough, or 1 gigabyte is enough for our usage. Okay. So anyhow, you will use it in CLI only. So 1 GB of memory. And the next one is your disk. So disk 20 gigs is fine. So 20 GB HDD means hard disk. Hard disk or SSD, anything you can use. So yeah, at least 20 GB mostly you should have. So if this system requirement is fine, you are having it, or if you can't install, then please do opt for AWS GCP. I will show you for sure how to install in all the three methods. And still, if you are having issues, I will take the control of your machine and install, because we must have a practical or a working lab environment. Then only we can work on it, right? So that's what. So once again, going back to this one. So once, like if possible, please do go to the resource and bookmark it, guys. So just go to this link and click on this star bookmark and go to the installation files and download this ISO. Okay, so this ISO is nothing but the operating system, and you see the size, right? So it's around almost 10 gigs, and you should download this one if you are fine with installing in your local machine. Okay, so yeah. And this is, I included RHEL 8.4. You can obviously download from the official site. So in order to download from official, just type RHEL 9 ISO. The first link, it should be there. And but one thing is, you should create an account if you want to download. So once you create it, so click on this. It might ask for the credentials. One second. Let me enter mine. So is there any doubts, anyone? Please do let me know. Yeah. So you see, okay. So I clicked on under -boot. So please don't download this one, guys. So you should download. If you scroll down, not this one. Yeah. So you should download. RHEL 9.4 is the latest one, and you can download the one with which has most. The size is huge. Why? Because it includes all the packages. Okay, so the latest one is around 10 gigs, 10.3 gigs to be precise. So you can click that, it should download. Okay, so yeah, it's that easy. But you can use the one I given, right? So if you're having issues downloading this, please do let me know in tomorrow's session. I will show you how to download using torrent, or I will set up on your behalf. Okay. And please do download this workstation as well. So yeah, the 615 MB. So again, if you want, you can download this version, but the latest version you should pay. So I included the key inside this instructions. So please go through this instruction how to install. It is pretty straightforward. You just download, open. Next, that's it. It will automatically install. Just give this key. It is an universal key, and it is a lifetime access will be there. So you can use this one. And please do let me know in tomorrow's session if you're facing installing anything. You just let me know. Okay. So we will check that. And yeah. So any doubts, anyone? If not, we can wind up today's session. Okay. So please go through the recordings of my previous batch. So yeah, you just see how my trainings will be. And this question paper and this Linux resource will be shared. It will be, the link won't be changed, guys. So you can use that one. So this is the short link. So I have Oracle VirtualBox. Obviously, you can use Oracle VirtualBox Yeah, I will help you, Vinod. Don't worry about it. Yeah. So, like I personally recommend VMware Workstation because I'm used to that, and companies do prefers that. So that's the reason I am using. But obviously, you can use Oracle VirtualBox or any other also. So yeah, Vagrant is there. So many other Hyper-V, right? So yeah, fine. Yeah. So today's recordings will be available in the YouTube channel, guys. Okay. So please don't use SUSE, So we will use only RHEL. So SUSE uses different, most commands will be differing. So please do download this one. Okay. Yeah, yeah, you can download it, Prabha, and you can see it in the portal as well. So it will be there. It is a lifetime access. Okay. So you need not worry. Both the notes and recordings will be there forever. It's yours. Okay. So yeah. So you can either opt for the only recording sessions or my previous batch, that one, or you can opt for the current one. But yeah, so once we are done with each weekend, then only the recordings will be uploaded for this current batch. Okay. So yeah. Is there any doubts, Surendra Babu, or someone? If not, it's okay. Oh, yeah. So I guess it's already time. So tomorrow's session, at least it will be a 2 hour session, guys. So yeah. So thanks for your time. Have a great day. So let's see tomorrow at the same time. Okay. So yeah. Bye bye, guys.